Welcome back to Visions Now Supper Club. They're not the views. The management, advertisers, and staff of 92.1 FM. However, Visions does desire to bring a quality entertainment program which intellectually stimulates and culturally fulfills our community's needs to develop leadership and inform decision-making for our collective future. Welcome to the village. Often imitated, but never duplicated. I'm Dr. Shailene Hood, your host and executive producer. Welcome.
To be respected. None of us can do. Africa has to be strong. Africa has to be respected. None of us can do better than the continent we come from. Be honest, my queen.
A lot of the dilemmas that get sent in from my listeners talk about struggling to find a man.
Struggling to find what kind of. A big difference between the snow bunny and the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress.
Black women are willing to hold it down for the man. I feel like we're always there supporting them. If anything, black women get the short end of the stick.
If it ain't nappy, I ain't happy.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Wintana, and you are tuned into the Bittersweet Podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest on the podcast today. We have American African Pan-Africanist, psychologist, motivational speaker, Dr. Umar Ifantunde. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself, queen?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm so excited to have. I actually can't believe you're here in Australia.
Me either.
On the Bittersweet Podcast.
It's been a long time coming.
Is this your first trip here?
First time in Australia. You
Amazing.
guys were the last continent. I've done every other continent but you.
How are you liking it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I've had a great time so far. I landed in Sydney Thursday morning, didn't see any black people for about 5 hours. I was going to go back to the airport and go back to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But then I flew to Melbourne and I started seeing African people. So I said, I guess this was not a CIA
setup. Yeah. So Melbourne's the most that you've seen.
Yes. In Queensland yesterday, we had a great program there as well, but not as many Africans.
Yeah.
Melbourne has been the New York City of Australia.
Melbourne is definitely, and I think over the years, I don't think it wouldn't have been the same situation if it was a few years ago. Okay. Or I don't know if more people are flying into Melbourne, or we just have more of a culture we're creating more of a culture now as we grow up.
Okay.
So it's beautiful. We love that you're here. We love having you here.
Glad to be here.
I also want to give a big shout out to Magang, who is the founder and owner of By. Can you please help me with
Al-Kabulan.
By Al-Kabulan. Now, guys, I found out about this probably last year, that there is an African historical library here in Australia, here in Melbourne, and it's in the western suburbs in Footscray. So please check it out. I'm going to have all the links in the bios and the descriptions for you guys to donate, because it's an amazing initiative. It's something that we need.
It is, very much so.
So I wanted to get right into the topic with my topics today. I wanted to ask you, before we get into everything, if you can explain a little bit about Pan-Africanism.
Pan-Africanism can be summed up in 3 basic principles. Number 1, all African people constitute a single human family. Whether you're in Ethiopia, Nigeria, South Africa, whether you're in Australia, Jamaica, Brazil, whether you're in Texas, New York, Toronto, whether you're in Paris, UK, or Ireland, we are one people. No matter what our religion is, no matter what our nationality is, no matter what language we speak, whether your hair is nappy like mine or more fine like yours, we are still one family, and we should identify as African first. So it's not just enough to know you're African, you must prioritize your Africanity. So you're never a Christian who happens to be an African, you're an African who happens to be a Christian. You're never a Muslim who happens to be an African, you're an African who happens to be a Muslim. And why? God made you African. Your family made you Christians. People leave the church every day. People leave the masjid every day. People renounce their Australian citizenship every day. People renounce their American citizenship every day. You can never renounce being African. God made you black. Being black, being African is the most divine. It is the most sacred group membership you have, and we should prioritize it. That's principle one. Principle two, as Africa goes, so goes all African people. If we wonder why in Australia we suffer racism, in America we suffer racism, in the UK where I was last week, we suffer racism. In Ireland, where I'll be in January, we suffer racism. Why? Because we have not built up Africa to be strong enough to look out for her scattered black children wherever we may be in the world. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the greatest Pan-Africanist of all, he said that a strong man is strong everywhere. So as I travel the world, as someone who's been almost just about everywhere, wherever I find Chinese, they're being respected. They're in a position of power. Wherever I find South Asian Indians, they're being respected. They're in a position of power. Wherever I find Anglo-Saxons or European Jews, they're being respected. They're in a position of power. And wherever African people are, even in Africa, we are disrespected and seldom in positions of power. If we want to be strong, if we want to be respected, Africa has to be strong. Africa has to be respected. None of us can do better than the continent we come from. Take care of the mother, and the mother will take care of her children. Principle number three, self-determination. Everything that is to be done for African people must be done by African people. We build our organizations exclusively with black people. We fund our organizations exclusively with black money. We build our families exclusively with black women and black men. Everything must be all black, everything. Self-determination. You don't see Jews begging Chinese to help them. You don't see Indians begging Arabs to help them. You don't see Anglo-Saxons begging Latinos to help them. And black people, African people, got to stop begging other people to help us do what we need to learn how to do for ourselves. Self-determination breeds self-respect.
You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon and compete with hundreds of other spatula sellers.
Can the two things coexist when you say religion and our race? So you know how you said, okay, so you know how you said you're black first.
Yes.
Can you be both first?
You can't be both first, because
Why?
Religion is an institution. Don't confuse religion with God. That's a big mistake people make.
Yeah.
Religion is an institution created by man to serve the needs of men. When the Arabs invaded North Africa and conquered our northern territory, they had no mandate from God to do that. When the Europeans took Christianity and used it to justify the transatlantic slave trade, they had no mandate from God to do that. So we have to recognize religion is an institution that is separate from the Almighty Creator. Religion purports to be about helping you build a relationship with the Almighty Creator, but there's no greater mistake you can ever make than to confuse a man-made institution with the Almighty God. Religion is religion.
Yeah.
God is God. Okay. And the two can coexist, because as Pan-Africanists, we believe in freedom of religion. Marcus Garvey was a Christian.
Yeah.
El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X was a Muslim.
Yeah.
So we believe in freedom of religion. I have no issue with your religion unless your deity looks like your enemy. So if you run around with a white Christ, we got a problem. Because as Pan-Africanists, we believe in self-determination. Jesus should look like me. because I'm African. Not only should Jesus look like me because I'm African, Jesus was an African, and Jesus was born in a cave in Ethiopia. And it wasn't until the Nicene Council of 325 that Emperor Constantine changed that fact and said Jesus was born in a manger in Bethlehem. Prior to the Nicene Council of 325, the whole world knew that Jesus was a blue, black, purple African who was born in Ethiopia.
The knowledge. Okay, I wanted to talk about quickly before I jump into the bulk of this episode. I wanted to talk about self-determination because I went to your lecture on Saturday. You spoke about how we shouldn't be taking money from the white man or these organizations, right? But I think a lot of the times we need to look at where we are positioned as Black people, as a community, and we don't really have the privileges. Especially, let's talk about Australia. We haven't been here for as long as these other cultures have been here for. So we haven't established organizations or systems for ourselves right yet. So there are grants, there's funding, there's things that we need to accept to be able to build ourselves as a community. And I remember a woman asking you about that, and you said the opposite. So can you talk about why you think that's not, like, why we shouldn't be doing that? Yeah.
The hand that pays is the hand that rules. You can't show me any people in human history at any time, any color, on any continent who empowered themselves using the funding of the very government that oppresses and marginalizes them. It doesn't happen. Now, if you say, Dr. Umar, I'm getting funding from the Australian government to work with young girls, I'm not going to criticize that. I'm getting funding from the Australian government to reduce violence in our community. I'm not going to criticize that. I'm getting funding from an Australian business or bank or corporation to help the homeless women. I'm not going to criticize that. But if you say, I am a frontline Pan-Africanist organization that's fighting for freedom, justice, and equality for the Australian African, then it becomes a contradiction. You cannot be a frontline revolutionary or frontline activist group who's fighting for freedom, justice, and equality for all Australian Africans and take money from the government. That's a contradiction. But if you're only taking money to service a certain issue or challenge or concern in our community, I will be patient with you because you're serving a need that needs to be met. But then my bigger question would be, how long are you going to be on this financial umbilical cord to your oppressor until you get to the point where you can finance that program yourself? In other words, Queen, I can tolerate us getting the funding to some extent, especially our women, right? But what is the exit date? What is the freedom date? What is the emancipation date? Can you tell me where and when are you projecting to cut off the funding from the Caucasian and start funding yourself?
Well, I think it's, you can, like, I think if you take it for seed funding to build a business, like, look, let's talk about this podcast and this studio. I think to build it and to grow a community at the beginning, it's necessary because we don't have the resources. And then after some time where you've built an established brand or you've built an like you've built something, you can then start to ask people you can then start to actually create a business that's like running on its own. Or having people that, or have people want to donate towards the business or put money into it.
I can agree with your strategy, but when you say it's necessary,
yes, I think it's necessary.
I would push back to some extent. You know why? I'm willing to bet that Australian Africans, and I'm speaking collectively of everyone, from the Ethiopians to the South Sudanese and everyone in between, I'm sure they're buying Christmas gifts. I'm sure they're going to musical concerts. I'm sure they're going to nightclubs. I'm sure they're smoking marijuana and drinking. I'm sure they're buying Nikes and Christian Dior and Gucci and Louis Vuitton. I'm sure they're driving Mercedes and BMWs. So don't tell me it's necessary to take government funding, because if you have money to buy the things you want, you certainly have money to fund the things you need.
Facts. What if we're not doing both? I don't think there are people that are going clubbing. There can be people that are going clubbing and there can be people that are not going clubbing and putting money towards their passion instead, but don't have enough funds to do that.
I'm sure.
Yes.
But I'm speaking as a community.
As a community.
Because we should act as a community.
And listen to this though, as a community, unfortunately, we're not seeing I feel like it takes us a while to see each other as credible. We don't put money into ourselves until we get to a certain point. We don't do that. So if it takes taking money from funding bodies to do that and to build and then going to the community, then that's what it takes.
But here's what I want you to see. I want you to recognize that in your argument, when you say necessary, it's not necessary. It's because we don't prioritize what we need to be doing that it becomes necessary. In other words, if the Australian African community wanted to fund itself, we could. We choose not to. And that's why you're getting the funding. So the funding from the government is a consequence of the fact that we're not prioritizing Black excellence. Yay.
Hi, I'm Brett.
And I'm Jonathan.
This is Darla.
I can agree to it.
Yay.
I can agree to it.
Yay.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the bulk of this topic, because I know we don't have that much time. I wanted to talk to you about Black love.
Yes.
I feel like there is a war between Black men and Black women. I think that a lot of the dilemmas that get sent in from my listeners talk about, it's about women talking about struggling to find a man, struggling to
find what kind of
to
man?
find a Black man.
What kind of Black man?
What do you mean? What kind of Black man?
What kind of Black man? Struggling to find what kind of Black man?
Okay, let's talk about it.
Black men all in Australia.
No. We have.
So what kind of Black men are you struggling to find? Are you struggling to find a millionaire? Are you struggling to find somebody who's 6'3" with a six-pack stomach?
No.
Are you struggling to find someone who can finance a European expensive materialistic lifestyle?
No.
What kind of Black man are you struggling to find?
Let's talk about the culture in Australia versus the culture in America. I don't think it is quite different. It is.
No, it's not.
It is. I think now we're being more influenced.
One of the biggest mistakes that I find in the diaspora is we swear we're so randomly different. As probably the most traveled African in the Western Hemisphere, we're not that significantly different.
No, but we
there
are.
Might be some new. No, we're not. No, we're not.
I don't think Black women. Okay, let's talk about it, because I'm getting dilemmas where women are talking about they're successful, they're in their careers, and they're looking for a decent guy. They're not asking for a man to earn triple the amount that he's earning.
Decent? Give me 3 criteria for decent. I'm a psychologist. You must define the term. Give me 3 criteria for decent.
So he's emotionally intelligent.
Okay. Assuming she is as well.
Continue. He is a provider. So he's able to, or he has a decent job. They are on the same.
What is a decent job?
Define
the term.
He makes an amount that is in the same tax bracket as the woman. Let's just say that same tax bracket.
Okay.
Emotionally
Financial
intelligent.
equity.
Yes.
Okay.
I would just say he's a provider. He's nurturing, and he cares to build a family with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the question?
And the question is, women are struggling to find men that they can date.
Okay. Couple things. Number 1, Black women cannot, shall not, should not expect a Black man to be able to provide them with the same type of a lifestyle that a Caucasian can provide for the white female, because the Caucasian benefits from white privilege, the Black man suffers from white racism. So we should not be, no sister should be looking for a European equivalent or an African equivalent of a European. A Black man has to work twice as hard to get half as much. So although I can appreciate the financial equity, but if you are a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer as an African woman in Australia or America or the UK or Toronto or Johannesburg, looking for a Black man who has financial equity with your type of career success, that's going to be difficult. You might got to tone it down a little bit. What I find as a therapist who works with couples, married, divorced, and otherwise, too often Black women prioritize a man's income over his masculinity, meaning he can provide. He's willing to help with those children. He will nurture you, look out for you, but he might not be able to put you in a Mercedes. He might not be able to help you with that $1 million mortgage. And I've seen Black women turn down good men, very good men, because he didn't have the economics, but he had everything else. Sisters need to be careful not to fall into this European narrative of judging men primarily by how much they make.
I can agree with that. I think that these are 2 extreme scenarios here, because I think if a man we're talking about financial equity, if he is making enough to build a household with you, to be a leader in the household, I think women are okay with that. I think that's not what they're getting. I think they're getting the other end of the spectrum. That's what we're hearing. You know what I mean?
Would you have a problem if you met a man who made half of what you made or a third of what you made, but he had a financial vision of an empire, a business, some sort of an entrepreneurial undertaking?
See, I think that's dangerous.
Stay with me.
I think that's dangerous.
Let me finish it, and then I want you to respond. And he needed you to help invest in his dream. And he gave you a definitive timeline. He said, give me 12 months or 24, no more than that. If you invest in me, I promise you what I'm going to build will equal where you are. Would you have a problem investing in him?
What does investing in him mean?
Let's say he needed $700 a month to help fuel this dream. He needed $700 for 24 months. Could you do it? You're reluctant.
I am reluctant because what's the guarantee?
There is no guarantees in love. There is no guarantees in romance.
And also, I think context matters. How long have we been together? You know, it's just a guy that I met last year, and all of a sudden he has these dreams, and he wants me to fund it.
For about 2 years. You like him. There might even be some love there. And he's saying
there might be some love there. Is crazy. There has to be some love there. There has to be a future there. And I think that's what I'm saying. Context matters. If I see myself with this man,
answer the question. Let's say all those things are there. Will you financially invest in him?
It's about I was babysitting for a very famous family of billionaire women in Los Angeles that you sure know. Whenever my bosses had to travel, they would take me on their private jet, which seemed like a dream, but I wasn't allowed on the main part of the plane. Instead, I had to stay in the cabin with the baby all the time. They were extremely strict with the quality of food.
Be honest, my queen.
They might.
They already answered for you. They said hell to the music.
The people who they
why not? Why do you have a problem with that? Given the atmosphere of racism and economical pressure that black men suffer in Australia, why would you have a problem?
But what are black men subject to that women are not? We're going through the same thing.
True, but it operates differently. The racism against black men is significantly more aggressive than the racism against black women. Now, I don't want to get into an oppression Olympics because I agree with you. We all suffer and we suffer together. But a man's primary responsibility is to be a provider. And we don't feel adequate as men when we can't provide. So your kid, who you love, who you've been dating for 2 or 3 years, is saying, baby, invest in me for these 18 to 24 months. And I promise you, I will cross that finish line. You're still reluctant.
I'm reluctant. As my husband, if we were married and something like that happened, of course, I would be open to doing that.
But would you be open to even marrying him if he was not the provider you needed him to be? He's saying, help me level up so I can become the person you want to marry. He's asking you to help him level up.
I think.
Let me tell you why you're reluctant. And I don't have a problem with your reluctance, but I want to explain something. Okay. And I want all my young sisters to hear me. A big difference between to find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him on the university, and that snow bunny will see a black man with potential, and she will invest in him. She will help him level up. And then when the sisters see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire, and the sisters say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for a sister to help him level up, to invest in him, none of them wanted it. You know why? Too many black women want a finished product. Black women have to, stay with me. Black women have to stop expecting men to be a finished product. It's harder on us. Help him level up. Stay with me. Help him level up and become what you need him to be. Because the big reason why these snow bunnies are running off with black men is they're meeting them when they have nothing, but they believe in their vision. And black women are waiting for him to cross the finish line. And by the time he crosses the finish line, the snow bunny done snatched him already.
I disagree. And I think that I'm basing it on case studies. I've seen, I know black women. I'm friends with black women. You know, when I see the dating issues that happen, sorry, the mic.
No, we good. Go ahead. We good.
It's never that. It's never that they don't want to invest. It's actually the opposite. Black women are willing to be in relationships with men that are still leveling up, that are still working their way up. And then
yet you were reluctant. So why are they different from you?
Well, maybe because I've been through that and now I'm not trying to do that right now. Do you know what I mean? I've been through a relationship where I have supported someone and it went really badly for me. You know what I mean? So for me now, I don't need to coddle a man and be there. And I've worked my way up the
Investing in a
same
man
way.
is not coddling.
I don't think you need to invest. I don't think it's necessary in that way. Why is it only financial investment? Why is it only financial investment?
That's what he's asking for, because at the end of the day, you just said yourself, financial equity is a major concern for women. So it has to be financial equity or investment, because that's what a lot of women are looking for from their men. Y'all want economic parity, and I don't have a problem with y'all wanting economic parity. I'm simply saying, with the obstacles facing black men in Australia, the US, or any other white society, it comes with a lot of obstacles for us to get there, and it's unrealistic to expect me to be where you are when you are not considered the threat that I am.
Sorry, I need to process this, because I think
take a deep breath.
Yeah.
King Kong is here.
I don't know. I disagree. I just think that black women are willing to hold it down for the man. I feel like we're always there supporting them, and I think that if anything, black women get the short end of the stick. We don't.
A lot of times y'all do.
We do. So
and
how
I'll
are
give
you?
you 3 short sticks that y'all tend to get. Number 1, black men need to stop telling y'all they're monogamous if they're polygynous. Too many black women are being manipulated into plural relationships that they didn't sign up with because of disingenuous men. Okay, I'm going to have 2 wives. Dr. Umar going to have 2 queens. If you don't like it, don't flirt with me. Leave it there. But I'm going to have 2. I'm going to be honest, right? Men have to stop manipulating women who looking for monogamy into polygamy. It's not right. You got a wife over here. You got a baby mama over here. You should have been honest up front. That's number 1. Number 2, black men have to stop holding women on an emotional leash, giving her the belief that you may one day commit, knowing damn well you don't want her. Let her go, but you won't let her go because your ego can't stand to see something you throw away get picked out the trash by another man and turned into a jewel. We are wasting too much of y'all time by dragging y'all along emotionally, and that's not good, because black women have a biological clock. Y'all have a tick-tock on how long y'all can have babies, and because of that, we shouldn't be wasting time with y'all. If we're not serious, we should let y'all go.
And let me add to that.
We got to stop putting our hands on our women. Too much domestic abuse, too much domestic violence. Too many black children are watching their mothers get abused by their fathers, and it's creating intergenerational trauma. So yes, there's a lot we need to do better for y'all. And I'm here to apologize to all my sisters in Australia for any black man that has done you wrong, because we need to level up in ways other than money that money can't fix for us. So I'm with you, Queen. We need to become better men, but we need y'all to be a little bit more sensitive to the economic challenges that black men face. Me, I don't have that issue. I got 6 degrees. I got my doctorate. I'm the most popular Pan-Africanist in the world. I'm good, but a lot of my brothers ain't where I'm at. You understand? And I need my women to understand that not every black man is going to be where Dr. Umar is. And it ain't because he was lazy, and it's not because he was intelligent. I had my father in my home. You understand? And because of that, the white power structure dealt with me differently because my father was there. I saw how I was given programs other black boys were not given because their father were not there. Children I went to elementary and middle school with, they in prison, they in the cemetery, not because they was less intelligent than me, but because my father was there, they dealt with me differently. So I wasn't better than them. I was given opportunities they were not given.
Yeah, let's talk about how we can create you, because I know that we're talking about the divide. We're talking about black women, black men, why they don't get along, why they're not coming together. How can we start to create an understanding between the 2 of us?
Number 1.
Yeah.
Too often when we get into relationships, we're looking for an emotional slave and a psychological cheerleader. We're now looking for a partner. Too often I see women who are looking for men who will just obey and do as I say. I see men who are looking for women who will just obey and do as I say. Are you really looking for a partnership, or are you looking for a cheerleader or a slave? Too many relationships are not partnerships. They are dictatorships of the more powerful partner over the less powerful partner. That's 1. Number 2, we need to stop getting into relationships when we have unmet psychological needs from our childhood that we have not addressed. Too many women are dealing with the abandonment of their fathers. You cannot put it on a man to heal the emotional wounds that your father caused. Too many men are looking for women to heal the emotional needs caused by their mother's abandonment. Deal with the trust issues from your parents. Deal with the abandonment issues from your parents. Deal with the lack of ability issues from your parents. It is not your partner's job to heal you psychologically. So what we often end up doing is getting into relationships with emotionally unavailable people. And the reason they're emotionally unavailable is they're too consumed with their own issues that they should have dealt with before I came into your life. You see that? We got to do a better job of screening people, because in Australia, you got emotional vampires, unhealthy women who look healthy, unhealthy men.
I agree with that.
You understand?
I agree with that.
Healthy.
And jump into relationships too quickly. Like we'll leave one and then we'll go into another before we heal. I do agree with that. And I do think that there's a lack of understanding from both sides. And all we're doing is everybody's just very loud. But I think that if there was some sort of there are so many points I wanted to go into with what you were saying, but I just feel like we can meet at a middle ground.
I agree.
It's just, there's just a lot of noise.
And I don't think we study each other's values.
I don't think so.
Enough. Let me give you an example. We meet hypothetically, right? We meet. You're a psychologist. I'm a psychologist. You're a Pan-Africanist. I'm a Pan-Africanist. You're a Leo. I'm a Leo. But guess what? You believe in saving money. I believe in spending it. Guess what? I want to have a big family. You don't plan on having no kids. Guess what? I have a close relationship with my mother. I spend every Sunday with her. You can't stand your mother. I want to save for retirement. You believe in spending all your money. You see that on the surface, we got everything in common. But when you go beneath and look at the values, it's completely different. We have to start studying our potential mates' values. And the other thing that we also need to do is we need to slow down on the sex. Women in particular. One of the things I don't like about African women today is they're trying to operate like males. You don't care. You just had sex with me. I don't care. I'm gonna have sex with you. But there's a big difference there. Women are internal. Whoever y'all lay with, y'all pick up our spiritual DNA. I don't care if he's wearing a condom or not. A piece of me is in you forever. There's been research that shows sex changes your DNA. When I'm in you, I'm literally in you for the rest of your life. And women have to stop consuming all these toxic male energies because it affects the way y'all think. Your vagina is an extension of your unconscious. And the same thing happens for men. When we lay with women, we pick up a piece of you. You always carry a piece of everybody you ever laid with.
And I think that's a message that we need to spread to the men as well, because it's not just, it's not one way.
A lot of us are serial monogamous.
100%.
A lot of us are serial monogamous. And we don't want
to be alone.
Yes.
And I think that's
a problem. And we don't want to commit. I don't want to be alone, but I don't want to commit. Serial monogamy.
Let's get into the last segment before we wrap up. This is called Bitter or Sweet. It's a game. I'm going to give you this paddle. So basically, I'm going to run through.
That was the one I was talking.
Really
I knew it was one.
So bitter or
that's
sweet.
the one.
Take your time. You're a sister.
Let me give you this one.
They can wait.
So bitter or sweet. Bitter meaning you disagree, and sweet meaning you agree. I'm going to give you some scenarios. First one is wigs and weaves. Bitter or sweet?
Bitter. If it ain't nappy, I ain't happy. If I can't grab it, you can't have it. Bitter. I want all nappy, everything, all natural. I want organically African Australian queens from head to toe.
Did Harvard University just find a way to restore crystal clear 20/20 vision without?
I love it and I hate it at the same time, because I don't like that Black women are always criticized. I don't like that. I get what you're saying. Let's empower our women. Let's do all those things. But then also we need to be mindful that, I feel like Black women are always they're always the topic of conversation. Our attitude, our hair. You can't do this. You can't wear this. You can't. And I don't like that. And I think that you saying that
who date women with wigs and weaves have no business criticizing them for having wigs and weaves.
And then when you had your talk, I remember you said the same thing. You spoke about weaves. The way that the men felt, they rose and they were clapping, and I just feel like it doesn't come from a place of it comes from a place of
hair. You have no business criticizing them. I only date natural hair queens. Okay. When I go on the first date, I'm going to grab your hair as hard as I can to make sure it don't come off.
That's crazy.
And if it comes off, I'm walking out the restaurant. Black power. We want black power, brothers and sisters.
All right. I mean, you kind of answered this during the podcast, but settling for a man that makes less than you, bitter or sweet?
When we are part of the trials,
I think it is sweet, because if a woman can settle for a man, and I don't want to say settle, accept the man who earns less than him, she's sending him a message that she is there for much more than his paycheck. That type of relationship is going to last a long time because he knows she's there to hold him down.
I want to find out from was.
And finally, Black men and women casually dating people from another race.
Absolutely no bunny
Yeah,
hopping,
it says the person
no
they call,
ice,
lined up, they-
no
nobody reached out
rice,
to me.
no
They even had the
spice,
foundation
no
down on that, I ain't
sand,
heard nothing
no
come up.
salsa. Let me
So,
say
I
it
mean, they
again.
need
No
to, you know, they
ice,
need to
no
keep me in the
rice,
loop on
no
what they're doing.
spice.
Wait,
no
let me
sand,
say it with
no
you. What is
salsa.
it? No
Black
ice.
men for black women, black women for
Okay,
black
so
men.
that was-
I don't
so
want to
that was,
see no snow bunnies. I want honey
that
bunnies.
was
I want
the-
caramel
that was
bunnies.
the- that
I
was
want
another-
butter
that was another
almond
issue
bunnies.
I
I
wanted
want
to
walnut
show
bunnies. I want
also.
guave bunnies. I want
Hold on a
butterscotch
second,
bunnies.
right here.
I want
And,
warm peanut butter bunnies. I want fudge bunnies. I don't want no snow bunnies.
Damn.
I don't know
I'm
why.
here for it. I'm here
Black
for it.
queens forever.
Snow bunnies never. Thank you so much,
Thank you, my queen.
Dr.
We got to
Umar
do this again
Johnson.
when I come back.
Yeah, we need to. Guys, thank you so much for tuning.
When Dr. Umar comes back, one love.
There's a lot that we're going to get into because I know we were on a time crunch and there's so much that I want to get into with you. But thank you.
This was a relationship podcast.
This was a relationship podcast.
Because I would have told the gang to give us the time. But next time we'll be ready.
Yeah, next time we need 2 hours.
We don't talk about this enough
at all.
So next time we'll be ready.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's
love.
episode. Just another shout out to McGann, who's the founder of
Library. If you live in Melbourne, Australia, make sure you support my young brother McGann. Support all the African community. When I come back, we're gonna be doing a lot of programs throughout Australia to bring the African family together. I don't care what nationality, I don't care what religion, I don't care what flag, I don't care what language. One Africa, one people, one family. Support the Buy Our Cable Line Library.
All right, guys, we'll be having all the links in the bios. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Ladies, this is going to sound crazy, but the traits that make you successful in your career.
Okay, so you can just tell that. Okay, yeah. So just tell that at least that I was trying to get in, but I just couldn't get in, and that I had called and mentioned those things to you. Okay. All right then. Yes, sir. So then.
Okay. Then I guess
I'll play this real and then you'll be on.
Okay.
He said the warden told me to give you whatever you ask, but you know what we want. I said, what do you want? He said, you know what? He said, come on now. He said, do you love her? You do know if I decide to send you to another prison, she'll be talking to somebody else by tomorrow. She don't care nothing about you. I said, you sitting up here trying to get me to give you somebody that's the police. He said, she ain't the police. She's an inmate, and I'm gonna treat her like one when I catch her. He said, you know what a red line is? I said, nah. He said, I'll tell you what a red line is. That's when a government official is working with the enemy. He said, you can get my license plate number and find out where I live, find out where my other coworkers live. You can find out where the kitchen workers work at if you would live at if you wanted to. He said, people like her are dangerous to people like me because we have to come in here and do our job. She can give you information to find out where we live and you can get things done us on the street. So when I catch her, I'm a redline her and make sure she never gets to work for the government again. I said, you just said all that and I'm telling you she one of y'all. He said, I'm going to get her. They pulled out a cell phone. They said, if you'll just put the number in this phone, I take it to the warden and I'll get you moved. They said, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He asked me, he said, does your dad want to come back up here? I said, no. He said, do you want to go down there with your dad? I have you on the bus in the morning, going in the cell with your dad as soon as you get out the bus in the morning. I said, how many people you don't have these kind of conversations with? You too comfortable. Like this don't happen in the penitentiary. I said, how many people? He said, you'd be surprised. He said, the warden told me to give you whatever you ask, but you know what we want. I said, what do you want? He said, you know what? He said, come on now. He said, do you love her? You do know if I decide to send you to another prison, she'll be.
Time of the day, you and I come together to make love, good old-fashioned community love. I'm Dr. J. Aleem Hood, your host and executive producer. This is Visions Now, your summer club. And I would like to welcome you and hope that all is well with you. And of course, give us a call at 706-221-4830. We're more than happy to chat with you about something that you heard on the video and about some things that are going on here in Columbus, Georgia. Of course, there's a lot of entertainment going on. Of course, at the center stage with Johnny Taylor, and of course, I think next Monday, I think Tony Parkman and Assemble will start doing their Monday night musical show, and then I think on Saturday with what they call it, a grown and sexy situation on Saturday. I think coming up, and of course there's a karaoke. There's a karaoke on Friday night.
I gotta see.
It's center stage as well.
I think karaoke. I think it might be Friday.
Friday, okay. And of course, don't forget. And I don't know if anyone's you're talking about calling in tonight. I guess about the event on Saturday, but we'll let people know anyway about the fact that Let Us Make Man event is coming up here on Saturday, and you got one of the flyers. Okay, I had some somewhere, but anyway, Saturday, I think it's on my desk in there. But Saturday, at Columbus State University. Do you know what building they're going to be in out there?
I don't know what building yet.
Okay. I'm assuming they're going to be in the Student Center building somewhere along there someplace.
That's what I'm assuming, but I'm sure they'll probably let us know.
Okay.
Before,
and
but I hadn't seen the room.
And some people have asked me about that, and also a little bit about, I told them they'll probably have somebody out there, at least some directions or something like that going on out there as well. And of course, the beat goes on with the city council situation. Now the lawyers involved, and
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, and so I don't know really what's going on with it for real. But I know it's very, very unfortunate that. Well, again, this is the season though for this type of politics. I guess I call it the gutter politics. So people are hitting below the belt, hitting behind the head. Right. I mean, you name it, they and so maybe it's at some point or another we can get people to, I guess it always amazes me. I mean, I understand politics, so that's why. I mean, there's certain things that people on both sides of this situation that I have some question about. So it's not like being on this side or that side. But my point is that somewhere along the line, somebody needs to try to decide about right or wrong. Say what manner of foolishness is he promoting? I'm not sure, but Ms. Key, we sent a link to you, and then you can ask that question. We can find out exactly what you're making reference to, and also talk a little bit about your upcoming speaking engagement. Ms. Key Essex, and I think if you don't have the link, let us know. We'd certainly like to get your smiling face in on the discussion, because I know you're a lady with strong opinions, and which is good, and so we'd like to find out what your opinion is about whatever that was question. I'm assuming that maybe it might have been one of the videos, but again, I'm not sure. But like I said, maybe we'll find out. So we want to maybe give her a call and see, see if she's linking up okay. But again, also just want to let you know that that we all we're all going to have to do some things differently. I had put out a little challenge to people about having some discussion. I mean, I'm trying to say, I just think that if people of good intentions sit down and put forth whatever their concerns are, I just think that this should, there might not be agreement, but there could be some understanding that can come out of that. But right now it seems like our government, well, again, it's not just anything new, but our government has a lot of unfortunately, the people are, taking sides. But again, we got to elevate this to the question of what about the children? What about the? Should I answer?
Yeah, I gave it.
No, call her. Oh yeah. So but for the, I just don't know what the message is to the gangbangers. I mean, the gangbangers doing their thing, and they shoot bullets, and it seems like that we got our political gangbangers too, and they shooting bullets. And they all are damaging in some way or another, and so I just want to try to be a peacemaker. They say, "Blessed are the peacemakers; they shall inherit the earth, and they'll be the children of God." So, so I would hope that we certainly need some peacemakers, and I offer myself as a peacemaker because, like I say, I'm an independent. I'm not on the Democratic side, not on the Republican side. I'm not on the rich side. I'm not on the poor side. I'm not on the middle class side. I'm not on the black side, not on the white side. I'm on the righteous side. I'm on the righteous side. Now, some people might fall in that, in that area more than others. But I don't know. But we're just saying that let's try to, let's try to figure this thing out. And you as citizens, what do you think about it? As you sit and watch and listen. Now, the other thing about it that I put out a challenge earlier that I sent out, and it just amazing to me how people, when people invite people to have a reasonable discussion, if they're so passionate about their beliefs. And I would hope that my thing is this: everything that I say here, nobody has to guess who I am. My thing is that I try to present the best point of view that I possibly can, and the best understanding that I possibly can. And if someone has something to offer that will help me improve or to elevate that, so be it. I'm open. But it seems like people, they hide on Facebook. If you have a difference of opinion, they want to block you. In real life, they want to try to take away your livelihood. They want to try to assassinate your character. Why? What happened to? But at the same time, somebody said, "Well, look, why don't we come into a forum to have a meaningful discussion? Let's have a meaningful discussion about this situation here." And then, of course, people they don't show up. But again, it just amazes to me how things work. Now, let me say this. My thing is that what's going on, of course, my big thing is saving our youth. I don't give a doggone what the city council is doing, what the feds are doing, what the churches are doing, what whoever's doing. If it ain't helping these children save their lives, not just in a real meaningful way, then my thing is that is not really anything worthy of doing anything. I mean, you're not really doing anything. If you're not doing something to prepare a better environment for our children to thrive and to grow in, and not just those children that have means, but children who don't have any means at all. But those children, they're all children of God. We're all children of God. So that we have a responsibility as adults. And my contention is that whether we like it or not, the proof is in the pudding. Not pointing the fingers at anybody. But the fact of the matter is that the reason why our children are at risk in doing all these these risky things is because the adults are not responsible. Yeah. It's just that simple. So therefore, we want to, we want to put lay where it belongs, because children cannot become any better than the grown people. And also would say this, that before I bring my guest in, that our children don't just belong to their parents. The children belong to a family, and children belong to a community. So therefore, you can have the best household in the world, but if you don't have a neighborhood that's also going to support and love you and enrich you and support you with your children and support you in being better parents, then you still not going to be successful. So therefore, we all can't just be concerned about our household. We also have to be concerned about our neighborhood. And so we'll stick a pin in that discussion right there. And I'm going to welcome our guest in today, and that's Miss Key Essex. Miss Key, how are you doing today?
All is well and as it should be.
Okay. And as it is or as it should be?
As it should be.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about that, because I see a lot of things that it is what it is, but I don't necessarily think that it should be that way. Our children are killing each other. No.
That's how I was doing. So how I'm doing in my world, everything is as it should be. For me personally. Yeah.
But I'm just taking a little license here to pull that concept out, because I think it's a good concept. But I'm just saying that I think a lot of people say that is what I've heard other people say that, but they don't mean it like you mean it. They mean that they say like prophecy is being fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I'm trying to say is that, yeah, prophecy is fulfilled if you do good. Prophecy is fulfilled then too. It's not just fulfilled when things are going bad. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
No, even when things in air quotes go bad, they're as it should be, because we may not see what the good is as of yet while we're going through it.
No, I get that part. Necessarily, yeah. No, this is the question. A specific question. In other words, I hear people talk. I'm sure you've heard people talk about also about prophecy being fulfilled, right? You heard people talk about that, right?
I have.
Okay, right. So I'm just saying that what they seem to forget is prophecy says that if you do A, B, C, and D, then and it go wrong, yes, then that's fulfilled. But they're also saying if you do B, C, D, E, and E, and it go right, then prophecy being fulfilled to win over. Prophecy will be fulfilled if you do wrong. It's gonna lead to wrong. If you do right, it's gonna lead to right. So I'm just saying that to me, that's the way I look at it. Do you look at it in a different kind of way?
I would say I do, because every prophecy it means on whose particular life and what's going on in their life. I don't see it as being a generalized thing.
I'm talking about biblical. When I'm talking about prophecy, I'm talking about like a biblical.
But once again, it's all in the interpretation. I don't take prophecies that more or less, for me, as saying just because someone said this, that, and the other, that is going to portray that way for me. I control my fate and my destiny. So therefore, I play an integral part in my personal prophecy. I think I know what's going on in the world today and what has been written, but we as people, we have a choice on the part that we play in that prophecy.
Right. But again, I'm just trying to hold it to a certain thought here, and that thought is, if things go right, or if they go wrong, prophecy is still fulfilled. That's what I'm asking.
It depends on what it is. Yes, I mean, I can.
No, but yeah, see, I'm saying it's okay to agree,
no
because
right or wrong.
But that's one
process that, because for me, there's no right or wrong.
No, it's not right. Yeah. No, again, see what I'm trying to say. What you're saying, I'm saying the same thing. I'm just saying in a different kind of way. I'm just saying that for example, if your prophecy is things are going good and they're going good, that's your prophecy, and that things are going good. Follow me? Okay, that's prophecy. But if I say things are going bad, and then that's prophecy, yeah, that's prophecy too. That's
because we got to take the good with the bad, the bitter with the sweet. We can't just want what's good. That's not logical. I mean, to me, that's not logical. We can't just want good things to happen, and then when bad things to happen, people say, "Oh, that's the devil." No,
Right,
God
right.
allows things to happen to us too. So to me, there's no right or wrong.
Well, when we take a little issue here now, there's no right or wrong. I mean,
It depends on what it is. Things that I may consider right.
Okay, that's fine.
Then that's for me to consider right. Some people may be like, "Oh, you do that? Oh, I wouldn't do that. That's wrong."
Well, I'm just saying, if cold-blooded murder, is that right?
You know, the context. We can't just say certain things and not put it in its proper context.
Cold-blooded murder, or either
if someone did something to one of my daughters, it may be considered cold-blooded murder. What I do to them, does that make it right or wrong? For me, it makes it right. By the judicial system, it makes it wrong.
Right. Well, this is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. Is there right and is there wrong? Or you saying right or wrong just depends on somebody's opinion?
Pretty
is
much.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
it's a matter of opinion.
To me, right or wrong ain't got nothing to do with my opinion, nor your opinion, or anybody's opinion. Righteousness is when you do things that further and manifest the best interest of life as we know it and humanity as we know it. To me, that's right. When you do things,
some people things being wrong.
No. Again, I'm just saying. I'm not talking about some people. I'm just saying, to me, that if somebody's doing something to blow up the word, to poison people, to destroy the well-being of children, that's wrong.
But that's why I said it depends on the context that it is being formatted.
Well, again, I'm just saying that. I'm trying to say that is the context. That's what I'm saying. That is the context. But again, we'll stick a pin in that, of course, and we'll agree, and that's what I'd like to do. We agree to disagree. I think there's a supreme right, and I think there's a supreme wrong. And many times we struggle to find and figure out which is what. Yes, but I think there's a righteous and then there's a wrong way to do things. I think there's a heaven and I think there's a hell, and I think that hell is a result of wrong things, and heaven is a result of right things. Now, that just
I think heaven and hell is a matter of perception, and it's a concept.
Okay.
I don't think that, for me, I don't think there's an actual hell in the middle of the core of the earth that my soul is going.
No. We're not talking about the core. We're talking about there are people who bring hell, and there are people who bring heaven. There are people who bring peace, and there are people who bring confusion. That's what I'm talking about.
But what I'm saying also is too, I can wake up every morning when I battled with depression and suicide ideations and suicide attempts. I was waking up every day in my own personal hell. Now, as I have learned and gained more tools to battle those types of thoughts or that perception of this world that I'm in, I choose to wake up in my own heaven.
Right. But this is my point here. Just using your illustration. When you were in your hell, when you were waking up in your hell, did it just affect you?
No, it affected everyone that was around me. That's why I knew.
Okay. So that's what I'm talking. That's all. We see. It's okay. I don't know. It's okay for us to agree. We agree. We agree.
I never said that we disagree.
No.
I
Understand.
My person.
Yeah. I understand. I just want people to understand that sometimes people can say the same thing in different ways. And that's why I'm just making it out, that because sometimes people think that people are disagreeing when the people are just speaking passionately about, but they're not necessarily disagreeing. And I think I guess the reason I do that here is because I want to do that as a model for people to be able to have discussions with each other about different things, but be able to see the commonality even in what might appear to be different. So that's what we just try to model that. That's what we're trying to do. But again, I'd like to welcome you to, you officially, this is your first time being on Vision?
It is, yes. So thank you for having me.
You're officially a visionary now. Okay? You're officially a visionary now. And so now with that means that you have a responsibility. And with that responsibility, you of course you've been doing this anyway, so it ain't no new responsibility. invited people to join us in these discussions. And I know you do. I know you No Limit Soldier, and I know what you be doing. And that's why you're here today, because you do some help. You might do some hellish things, but you also do some heavenly things too.
Exactly. I embrace all that I am. I am, and I embrace it all.
No problem with that. And again, but today you are I would say an ambassador of goodwill on behalf of our wounded warriors. Is that right?
Yes, with the VA whole health.
Right. When I the VA, soldiers, that type of thing. So tell us, you are going to be the guest speaker, I guess, coming up here next week sometime for an event, and tell us a little bit about what the event is and how you came about being the speaker, and tell us what you plan on sharing with the people a little bit at this occasion.
Okay, well, the VA is hosting a Whole Health Expo event, and the VA's Whole Health program is about getting veterans more aligned with their health and their well-being. And so it's more centered around what matters to you, not what is the matter with you.
Now, that sounds like, to me, something very heavenly. And not hellish. I'm just saying that way it sounds to me. Now it might, some people might hear it and they may not feel that way, but that's the way I feel about it. I mean, that's the way I see it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because the thing is that they want the veterans to be more empowered in what they value and how we can connect that to our internal motivation. So for me, when I'm asked to speak, I don't consider myself a motivational speaker. I can inspire you to want to motivate yourself by being an example of what this particular program has to offer and how it benefited me and how I used it as a compass. I don't typically like to use the word journey anymore. I think it's gotten too overused for me. So now I say on my voyage. Now I'm flowing with the waves of life. So I'm on a voyage. And so I use this program, which, if I'm not mistaken.
So you're the captain of your ship, huh?
Yes, as I stated earlier, my destiny may have been preordained, predestined or whatever, but I get to choose as well. I was given that power. So that's what this program wants veterans to know, that you can be empowered, and it helps equip you with skills and classes that you can take, and giving yourself a whole health coach who works with you. And so you can help better align with what are your core values. I find that as we've lived through different circumstances in our lives, we tend to lose focus on who we are, or, when you become a mother and a father, certain parts of you get lost into those roles. And so it's always about finding a way back. Mm-hmm.
So let me mention this. You're speaking from personal experience, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so for me, I lost sight of who I was created to be. And so when you go, let's say into the military, you are trained to become someone else. You are not the same person that you were when you came in.
You're right. You become a killer.
Correct. And so how do you, basically kind of separate that part of you? Because I remember when I went in basic training, they had us saying, what makes the green grass grow? Blood makes the green grass grow. I'm like, I don't want blood to make the green grass grow. I'm like, that's not what I want. But by the time I got up out of there, I didn't care who blood I spilled on the green grass.
That's right. You know what? Let me say this to you along that line. I as a therapist, I've dealt with people with PTSD over the years, right? And the thing about it is that now let me say this. People who watch this program know that this program is raw and unfiltered. So I'm here to speak truth to power. So reality is reality. And this is what I'm saying. That when I work with people with PTSD, I found two types of people. I found people who, for a long time, they could not overcome that traumatic experience of being a soldier and etc. They couldn't overcome it because they could not reconcile the notion by saying they did something wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So therefore, because their culture is that you're trying to get better.
You don't admit to being wrong. You don't.
You can't see. So therefore, those people that I work with who got better, those people were people who want to atone for what they had done wrong.
You got to want to do it for yourself. Yes.
And those are the ones that get better. But those who want to justify what they did, those ones never get better, and they continue to spiral, and they can spiral out of control, and therefore their life becomes a living hell because they bought into the fantasy.
I felt that the military, in a lot of ways, we all have narcissistic type traits or whatever, and it's good to have a healthy dose of ego. But for me personally, what I found and I've encountered is that the military helps feed a lot of those not so good characteristics within us,
right?
And we're rewarded for that.
Right. It's like let me say it in my language. And I'll put it to you like this. We've kind of had some discussions on the issue about narcissism and things of that sort. Okay, it's like this. I would say, now understand that there are different types of narcissists.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm gonna deal with it in a generic sense. We are born narcissists. But the notion is that with the notion that if nothing else happened on our behalf, that we still will look out for ourselves. That's built into our survival ourselves. Okay. Now, but the whole notion is that as we evolve into human beings from a human kind, what happens is that we then become empathic. Now, the empathic person is a person that is concerned about the well-being of the environment and others. Now, you have people who are empathetic who become toxic empathic people, and you have people who are what I call naive or innocent narcissists. For example, a baby is what I call an innocent narcissist, whereby there are people who have made sacrifices in the name of well-being, but they have sacrificed themselves. Almost like you say on the airplane, the first thing you do before you try to save somebody, put your own mask on. So that the toxic empathic person is a person that's dying and they never put on the mask themselves, so therefore they drown from the problem themselves.
And that's what the whole health program wants to try to help implement for veterans. Is a way for them to learn you got to save yourself. A lot of people are constantly in survival mode, but also being in survival mode, you're also ramping up your anxiety. You can't enjoy the present moment and the good that comes to you because you're waiting for the next thing to happen.
And let me say it. I really like this because I like to say what you say in my way, and it is just like you said that there are some people. Again, now let me say I struggle with some things too. I mean, but so it's not like it's not a struggle. But the thing about it is that I know that you have to live in the now. You can't live yesterday. You can't live tomorrow. You got to live right now. So part of the problem is that we have fears from yesterday that we bring into the now. You know what I'm saying? That we have to, and I know I have to work with that. and also there are fears about tomorrow. That we understand that we got to live whatever it is tomorrow, but today we can only make the best of today. But my point is that is getting that balance is the difficulty that people have, and this is why you.
But that's why we have this. That's why I wanted to talk about this program, because that helps give some people some guardrails on how they can get there.
Right.
And it's also because I'm not a group person. I always say I don't do groups. I'm not good in being in groups. So even when initially we would do the groups online, just seeing, I guess you could say some of the aha moments, some of the other veterans started to share when they let that anxiety, they felt it, they recognized where they were in the moment, and how they could tell their story on how they allowed it to pass and, be present. That was, for me, it was another stepping stone for me to say that I may not be good in groups of individuals in the same room, because it's a lot of energy, a lot of different things going on.
Right.
Because you do go through a group process, and then you have one-on-one individual coaching. And I remember my coach name was Miss Maria, and she would always, she told me one time, she said, I noticed I keep hearing you constantly talk about wanting to go back to Colorado. And she said, you're going to have to learn how to make where you are where you want to be. I can keep talking about what I want, or I can take advantage of what I have now and make where I am where I want to be. So it's about also learning those different ways where you can view, where you can kind of look at yourself and, change your perspective or your viewpoint and say, you know what, that does make sense. I can't keep harping on yes, I can say that's that's a goal for me, but for right now, since that's not attainable, what can I do here and now?
Right. Let me say that this kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing I'm getting ready to say here, right? Now I know why you won't go to Colorado. So I'm just gonna say, but I'm gonna say this to you. What you do is that you have to build Colorado where you are.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Make where you are where you want to be. So for me, I went and I bought some river rocks, and I put rocks in my sink, so that way I could have the flow of water, and imagine that being the mountains when I'm washing my hands in the bathroom.
That's why you like Colorado, because of the mountains and the rocks?
Very much so. That is one of the that is the main thing. Now the other part of it, yes.
Wait a minute now. Georgia got mountains and rocks too now.
But it's different when you're talking about being 5,000, 6,000 feet above sea level. In Georgia, we're only 300 feet above sea level. So it's a whole nother perspective.
Tennessee got some high mountains too.
But look, Tennessee ain't legal. Like I say, it's
you said that. You said I didn't say that. You said that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's other things that I said that it's other things encompassed in that.
I know. See, that I'm trying to say. See that I said tongue in cheek. See, but you see.
I thought I'm gonna own me. I'm gonna own me.
Listen, that was just between you and me. But anyway,
look, anybody that's watching this that know me, they know. Look,
hey, enough of that. Okay. So when are you going to do your when are you going to do this talk, and where are you going to do it at?
Okay, well, they're going to have a couple of different speakers. I'm coming on as someone who represents the whole health, and that is going to be on April 30th at the Montgomery VA clinic, a VA hospital in Montgomery, Alabama, on April 30th from 10 a.m. Central to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Right.
And they're going to have different. They're going to have vendors. They're going to have a farmers market. They're going to be doing yoga, sound baths, just a lot of different activities for the veterans and employees to really get out there and engage with one another. And that's another big thing with people. Like for me, I was diagnosed from PTSD to CPTSD, which is complex PTSD. And so even getting to a point with me wanting to be around others was a process. You know, I always tell people, don't disrespect what I've gone through by thinking I woke up this way. This
That's
wasn't just, you know, I decided, okay, I'm going to be different. No, this
it took work.
It took years, yes. And I met you the same year that I did the Whole Health program. I looked at my book because you receive a book similar to this, which says Whole Health, Take Charge of Your Life.
Right.
And that's basically what they want you to do, is to start taking charge of your life and your health.
Well,
and
you
so
make sure I get a copy of that book there.
You already give you the VA. You already give you the copy of the VA book.
Yeah. We remember now. I'm a certified veterans of family and domestic violence conductor, facilitator. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to let people know. I want you to let people know that we are a team and that we do have those services as well for people who are having conflict in their domestic, their intimate partner, or family, or community relationships, that we can work together to help them out there. That just just pass the word that we know we do have a team over here to like that, right?
Oh yes, of course.
So I'm just delighted, and also after you post, now I don't know, hopefully you bring back some video that we can play on the show for your presentation that we'll be able to reduce, and also you're welcome to come back and just share a little bit about your visit to Colorado, your visit to Montgomery, and what you see and what you didn't see or what you thought you see, how many trees you hugged, I mean whatever. Whatever it is that whatever
Colorado gave me all of that. I didn't have.
Yeah, I know it did. So you want to hug every tree. You want to hug every tree you saw.
And smoking too.
Hey, let me let you go. See that you can't stay tongue in cheek. You see, you have to go. You have to go there. See, but again, thank you so very, very much. Any last thoughts you'd like to have for us before we call it a day here on Visions Now?
Well, I just want other veterans out there to know that, as you stated, we have to command our own ship, and we can't continue to make excuses because we leave a trail of destruction behind us when we don't recognize that we are becoming our own worst enemy. And there are programs, there are organizations, such as what you have that's trying to help, veterans and so forth, to take advantage of those opportunities that's being presented to them. That's if you want to help. I'm a straight shooter, so I'm not the Coughlin type when it comes to veterans or whatever, because it's like at some point in time, we got to get right.
Right. One of the best, years ago, what kind of helped me evolve my therapeutic approach to PTSD was I saw a documentary of this group of veterans. I forget the name of it, but these group of veterans, they organize themselves together and they visit countries where there are disasters, and they help people through disasters. And that was they were all PTSD, but they were saying that this is how they help become whole, was because they organized themselves to say, well, look, I spent this amount of time tearing up things. We're going to come together and go throughout the world and help people. Because where they was in Haiti at the time, after Haiti had the earthquake, and that's when I heard their story. And I said, yes, that's what you should do to deal with PTSD, to become actively engaged in improving your community. See, that's one of the reasons why I say in our community today, that we're trying to get mentors, and I know you know this, and we're trying to get more mentors to be former veterans to come out here and help us mentor some of these young people who are traumatized in these streets out here. But the veterans need to organize. We can train them, But that's the best way for them to deal with that damage and not just going to the Legion and get drunk and all this kind of thing, but actually organize and to come out and do some community service to help these young people, then go get drunk.
That part. I wholeheartedly agree. We're gonna speak that into existence because that is
that's
the
right.
Thing.
Right. And you can tell them, and you can tell. Oh, I saw that tail. Okay, somebody getting jealous, so I'm gonna let you go. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. Thank you very much. Good luck on your presentation, and be safe. And we expect for you to be a regular contributor. And by the way, before you go, you made a comment in our thing about. I didn't know what you were referencing. Could you just really clear that up for me?
Well, when Dr. Umar was stating about men and how they need our assistance for the most part of, I guess, trying to help find themselves or investing investing into men. And my thing is that people have to, just with veterans, you got to want to invest in yourself first. I'm here as a conduit in like a jumper cable. I'm like a jumper cable, but you got to want to be able to do the work. And I'm not here to coddle you.
Right. Well, I guess I heard the same thing, but my thought was females got to do the same thing and males got to do the same thing. They got to.
It's on both sides. It's two sides of the same coin. My thing is that when he was referencing it, it was more so what I was gathering was that he was formulating it more towards females. Because once again, as you taught me, there's a difference between a female and a woman and a male and a man. Yes, I am a woman. I am a goddess. I don't have time right now to be trying to fool around with people who are stuck in a male stage.
But I think that you understand you are a work in progress.
I'll be a work in progress to my last breath.
Right. That's right. But let me tell you something about. I watched the same video, obviously. Now, but he was responding to a question by the moderator there, and so he was addressing that, and that as a male, as she was addressing it as a female, the question. So it was his response to the discussion that we were having in that respect.
You can clean it up any way you want to. Okay.
Right. Well, I'm just trying to bring some balance. Because my thing is that at the end of the day, I just think that we all, at the end of the day, we needed each other to come into this experience called life, and I think that we have some obligation and accountability to each other to continue this thing called life as well.
Yes, but it's for those who want to do it. Some people don't want to put the work in. See, things that like where I've gotten to at my particular level at this particular point in time, some people don't want to do that work. They want to come in and just siphon off what others have done. And so, no, I'm not finna do that. I am not going to allow you to bring my essence in the work that I put in.
Nobody can chew your food for you. At the end of the day, they can chew in their mouth and put it in your mouth, but you still got to do some chewing. You can't just swallow. So, well, let me get away from that too. But anyway, okay. Have a good day. Have a good week.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blessing to engage with you. Thank you for sharing your space.
And you bring out bad spice. You bring out hey, have a good day. Peace be unto you. Salute. Okay, I'd like to thank Ms. Key for being with us today. And I'd like to, we hope that you will have your day. You'd like to have a day to have a discussion with us. Feel free to do so. We'd love to have you. And as always, like I say, organize. Promotion Shindig with Sergeant Watcher Zuri. Stay tuned for the very best of nighttime. More videos. Come to our page. Let us know how you feel. That's what it's all about. We the one that left you.
Peace.
We the one that left you.
Soul.
Love to start now.
With a little sprinkle of power.
See ya.
Good night.